Gonna
All right.
send that methane far away.
So this is the segment we're recording about character sheets, and just to punish Matt for singing about methane, I'm putting it in there. That's a lie. All right, so that's a lie.
Welcome to the Miskatonic Region, a newbie-friendly Mage the Awakening podcast set in a world that is an homage to the works of H.P. Lovecraft. This is Chapter 0, a behind-the-scenes introduction to Morpheus, a character built and played by M.R.M. Dubois.
So, character sheets. This is Morpheus, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I started Sizz off by demanding that he tell me Morpheus's name and Morpheus's true name. And we explained the past, but so I'll try and keep it super truncated here, because if you want to hear a lot of the details about how this stuff works, then we'll go over the character sheet in a future episode of Chapter 0. So your true name is the name you were born with, the name that you built your connection to emotionally over your
although
life.
it would be more accurate to say it's not a true name, it's a sympathetic name.
Oh, did they change it from true to sympathetic in second edition?
And the reason is because they didn't want people to feel like they're locked into a name that they no longer identify with. It technically, you are still locked into it, but it doesn't make it any more true than
right. No, that's
any
fair.
other facet
Yeah,
of your
because
reality.
there's a lot of reasons you might change your name, and that makes sense. Yep.
Okay. So your sympathetic name is actually one more cage in the bar, or one more bar in the cage of the lie.
Okay.
There we go.
So the lie being that magic isn't real and that the fallen mortal world we are a part of is all there is.
Yep.
It's so hard for me to run these podcasts because I've been playing Mage for so long that I have become so steeped in the jargon and the philosophy of Mage that every other sentence out of my face, I'm like, oh shit, people who are new aren't gonna know what that is. I have to explain. All right, So what is your character's sympathetic name?
His name is Jack Morris.
Jack Morris. Where was he born?
He was born in the Miskatonic region.
Okay. Actually, you know what? We'll talk about that backstory stuff in the actual. We'll play that out. That's
All
right,
right,
Matt.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna play out you being born a newborn child.
Gonna play baby to death.
But he was born. He did things. He died. End of campaign. All right. So Jack Morris also goes by the name of shadow name being
Morpheus.
Okay. So what is Morpheus to you and him? What is the symbolism of that name?
Morpheus is a god of dreams, but he's also a sort of mercenary messenger of the gods.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily something that he's super attached to, as much as it is that as far as what he's doing with his life right now, it seems to make sense.
Right.
He delivers messages to people late at night on the radio.
Okay. And like I had mentioned in the previous episode with Sizz introducing his character sheet, your shadow name, you and your shadow name eventually like drift toward each other symbolically, and like you begin to embody it as time goes by. Whether that's just
if you're
because
doing
you're
it right anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not bad at magic, like.
Well, you could be good at magic and simply be doing magic that doesn't make any sense with your shadow name, and therefore, maintaining some level of distance from it.
Oh, okay. So tell me about his general. What path is he?
Mastigos.
Okay, so
the path of scourging.
The path of the scourging. Here, I'm gonna pass this one off to you. In the previous episode, we said he was morose, and all I did was sum them up by saying that they are seen as necromancers or alchemists. But what I want you to do, because you know this better than I do, is I want you to explain what morose is in loose, simple terms. Like, give me a couple sentences that kind of capture the themes of morose, and then also to contrast what the themes of Mastigos are.
So do you want what a Moros... Well, okay, so the themes of Moros are change, transformation, transition, and endings. They tend to see things move from one state of being to another, and that can be either matter reacting through natural processes or people through aging and dying. And
so kind of like the
soul.
embodiment of the death arcana from the tarot.
Yes.
Yeah,
pretty
a
much.
change. Okay.
Yeah.
And Mastigos?
And Mastigos are more about embracing or dealing with your inner demons.
Okay.
I would say they're about challenging themselves and also radically accepting themselves for who they are.
Okay, so the Mastigos deals with a lot of self, and whereas the Morose, they wake up, they're tied to the symbolic realm of Stygia.
Yep.
The Mastigos are tied to Pandemonium, which is nightmare and hell. And
Yep.
so there's a lot of like demonic themes and cool dark witchery afoot. It's almost like we took the realm of the dead and the realm of demons and went, hey, that sounds like a Lovecraft game. Like
Just a little bit.
just a little bit. All right. And as a which Arcana are you using?
The Arcana that I have chosen are Mind, Forces, and Space.
So mind is about like anything mental perceptions, thoughts, feelings, dreams, all of that.
Memories, language, yeah.
Yep. And then there's forces is anything that is energy, not to be confused with matter, even though scientifically matter and energy are just different forms of each other.
Pretty much.
And then you have space, which is literally distance, connection, the space things occupy.
Yeah, but not only that, but also the metaphysical distance between things. Like emotionally. Like emotional distance is a thing space deals with, for instance.
Because that makes sense. Okay. So that's the Arcana that you've got. That's your name and shadow name, your path. Which order are you a part of?
I am one of the Free Council.
So, we didn't go into heavy detail. The Guardians of the Veil, which is the order that your Cabal mate here is going to be in, they guard the Veil. The Veil being that, the mystery of our existence as mages. And there's a whole complicated world of stuff, and they're getting a horribly biased view of it if you actually follow through Chapter 1 and you go through the actual gameplay, because you'll hear it. You'll hear the Guardians of the Veil explained by the Guardians of the Veil. In turn, you will also hear about the Free Council through the eyes of the Free Council. But if you were going to sum up the Free Council in one simple sentence, what are they?
Oh, they are libertines.
They are the progressive modern thinkers.
Yes. Although in some ways they're not any more progressive than other mages,
Right. Which is a subject to get into when we do our Chapter 0 about the Free Council.
Yeah.
But the point is you're part of like the huge conglomerate of varying different initiatives and concerns that sums up the faction that would describe itself as the most progressive.
It's a nearly anarchaic mess of different political beliefs which manages to exist somehow under a loose umbrella of quote-unquote democracy.
Right. Okay, so what else is
Humanity is magical, bitch.
Humanity is magical, bitch. All right, and then next up, I want to know about your...
the Free Council really ought to come up with a catchphrase. Like, well, you know how when people are really gung-ho about the United States, they say, America!
America!
Like, the Free Council, I think, needs something like that.
Us! Like... Alright, so, what merits do you have in your sheet? We'll go over what they are, loosely speaking, one at a time.
The Free Council has a specialty merit called techne, which allows them to use human occult symbolism or cultures to
traditions
to drive their magic.
Right.
Well, it might be the traditions, but in his case, it's occult conspiracy nuts.
Okay.
That he calls on to do magic with him.
So you can call this merit lets you call
them
on occult conspiracy theories to work them into your magical practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, like for instance, I could develop an occult conspiracy theory of why such and such a thing is happening, and that could be used to power magic. Or I could call up somebody who's an occult conspiracy theorist expert and be like, what do you think about this phenomena while casting a spell?
Okay.
Things like that. His next merit is he has a familiar. It's a cat Goetia.
Okay, so I'm gonna want you to explain what the hell a Goetia is.
All right. So there are 3 types of beings which are typically pressed into service as familiars. You have spirits, which are anima of objects that or emotions or other things that can be reflected into the shadow. You have ghosts. That one's pretty straightforward. I think everyone knows what a ghost is. A Goetia is a mental construct that has been formed from either one person's mind or a collective consciousness.
Like a thought or an idea given independent sentience.
Yes,
Okay.
and those typically reside in the astral, which is got a whole bunch of layers.
A whole bunch. We'll talk about. We'll talk about the.
We'll talk about it.
We'll
later.
talk about the realms later.
Although, on the note of the familiar, you still haven't given me a name, and you still haven't told me what our working relationship is like.
That is totally true, and I will not edit that out. I promise.
He has a dot in fame because he is a regional celebrity with his radio show.
Yep. On the subject of that radio show, what is his radio show?
Oh, do you mean like a title?
Not just like what is his radio show about? Like what kind of a radio show is it?
Have you ever listened to Coast to Coast?
No.
Okay, Coast to Coast is a show that has been going on for a really long time. And
that we are now freely advertising.
Yeah, it started out as a it started out as kind of I don't know exactly. It started out as kind of a regular reporting show that just happened to happen late at night, and eventually over time kind of took on a lot of like new age themes and conspiracy theories, and they have people come on to be interviewed who have like, I've seen Bigfoot, or this is how you can prove that the UFOs are real, or that my cancer was healed by angels.
Okay.
And then during the course of those interviews, they'll also take phone calls from people who will basically say things that either are somewhat related,
or arguing.
Typically it's corroborating or completely missing the point of what the interviewee is saying, but somehow barely tangentially related because people just want to tell their stories.
Right. So you're running a radio show where people can call in and tell their weird ass stories.
Exactly.
Okay.
He has a dot in striking looks. Turns out, not only does he have a face made for radio, but he could even have a face made for TV.
So basically, we're definitely role-playing, is what I'm hearing here.
Yes. I see what you did there.
I can't believe you walked right into that one.
I said I teed you up. All right. He has 1 dot in mentor, which apparently is to be decided, but probably a Mastigos from the Circle who gave him the familiar.
Okay, so yeah, in that case we have actually picked out that NPC already. We just don't remember doing it.
No, I have it literally in parentheses, to be decided, comma, probably the Mastigos from the Circle. I wrote that down from you verbatim.
Okay, so I decided and didn't remember.
Apparently.
Yeah,
I will just go ahead and delete everything except for Mastigos from the Circle.
Right. Yes, no, I know who that is. We did develop them. That's Karina.
Oh yeah, she has a name. I should put that down. How do you spell that?
You're actually, your mentor is a herald.
That's right.
Karina was the Mastigos who stole the succubus soul when she was visited by the succubus.
Yes. Who is oh my gosh, that's my mentor.
Yes.
Morpheus and the succubus teaming up, wet dreams everywhere.
It's a swimming pool of dreams.
Yeah.
If you're looking for more about this podcast, or more about Matt, or me, or any of this nonsense, you like Lovecraft, you like Mage the Awakening, follow me on twitter.com/evilsqueegee, and follow Matt at twitter.com/mrmdubois.
Yes.
For more forbidden lore and behind-the-scenes content, keep your eyes peeled for more Chapter 0. If you were hoping to feast upon the maddening tale of magic and mystery, turn to Chapter 1, if you dare.